The Elephant Gate of Lipanoi in the sort of southwest area of the island of Koh Samui in Thailand. A beautiful little area with a road that goes down, a 3-minute drive to one of the wonderful beaches, or the multitude of beaches that sit here on the island. But why am I starting it here with a title on the video saying I've just bought something in Thailand? Well, because if I'm perfectly honest, at the minute the world is spinning at 1,000 miles a second in all blooming directions. 4 days ago we'd made a decision on what we're doing over here in terms of buying a property, although 3 days ago 2 curveballs, not one but 2 curveballs were thrown at me that made that decision very difficult to make. And the reason I'm starting the video in this area is because those 2 potential properties are over here. Now I will say now, finally our decision has been made as to what we're doing. In the real world, in about 3 days time, I'm going to be dropping a deposit on what we're going to be purchasing. Hopefully that's going to be the end of this video, which is why I'm putting this one up now. This is full circle, baby. We're freaking doing it. It's not happened yet and I've not dropped the deposit, but like I say, hopefully by the end of this video we will be. And I should say this as well, I want to explain this for everybody, the ones that are all behind me, and also for the doom and naysayers as well, because I'm going to explain in this video how it is that I am able to purchase a property here for £120,000. I'm going to explain it all, and I'll say now, look, I'm in a very, very unusual situation and a little bit of a privileged situation as well to be able to do it. No, nobody's going to be buying it me, I'm going to be paying through the nose for it myself, but I will explain it later in the video how that's going to transpire. For now, what I figured I'd do is show you the 2 properties that have given me a real headache over the past couple of days, and then we'll go over and I'll show you what it is we're actually going to purchase. Okay, let me just explain a little bit about this place before we go and see it, because over there there's sort of a little road or soy that goes down for about 100 meters and it comes to the beach. This property is 200 meters that way, so essentially you're 300 meters from the beach. You can walk there in like 2 minutes. Now, as I've just mentioned a minute ago, our budget is £120,000, which is about 5 million baht. And when I originally came to see this property, that's what it was on the market for. Now, it's going to be difficult to sort of show you and go around it for a simple reason that it's got a 3-bedroomed house on there, which somebody's renting, so I can't go in and show you. And the land itself has also got 3 Thai houses, and I assume 3 Thai families living on it. It's a bit weird. It's basically a 3-bedroomed house that sits on 1,000 square meters of land. Now, sort of to put that into context, how amazingly huge and massive and brilliant that is, a lot of the properties we've been looking at are sort of 2 beds or possibly 3 beds that sit on 200 to 400 square meters of land. So when this one cropped up the other day, 300 meters from the beach, with more than twice the size of land of any other property we've looked at so far, to pardon a phrase, I nearly shit a brick. But before we all get too excited about it, let's go up there and I'll show it you and explain what the situation with it is. So the surrounding area around here is already built up. Looks like it's got some, you know, sort of local people and maybe long-termers living around here. Okay looking bungalows. Looks like this plot might go for sale in the end, and there's also one behind me here that looks like it might end up being sold. This wall here denotes the edge of the land and the property. That's the property there. The property itself, and this is the thing with it, it's 15 years old, which is quite old for a property on this island, but having walked around it and seen it, it looks like a quality build. It doesn't look like it's got any problems with it at all in terms of damp or structural damage as such. The roof looks like it could do with a bit of a touch up, but nothing special. Now I think, to be honest, looking at it, this property is the end of the road, and I have spoken to the people that are renting it already, and wonderfully they don't mind me wandering around, they do actually have 6 Jack Russells that they're taking care of at the minute, which is the reason they moved into this property, so that they can let loose with the dogs. And they've already been telling me that they take the dogs down the beach in the evening. I mean, how wonderful would that be? As for the rest of the property, this is it. This is so random. I could have been wrong, but it looks like maybe one big Thai house on the land here, and looks like some of the family members have just come home. Oh, howdy cup. This is so random. I've never seen a property in my life where there's there's Thai people already living on it. I really don't know how that would go down if you were to purchase this property. I don't know if it's family members of the owner of the land or what. Oh no, look, there is a second house down there. So it does look like there's 2 families living on this land, and I'm just looking. I'm not sure if that thing on the side of his house is his address. No, it's not. Okay. So the land itself, it comes to the back of this house here, and then it stretches all the way to sort of the corner of this property where that bush is over there. So as you can imagine and sort of work out, the plan or the plot is bloody huge. You would have the chance. The house itself sits on about 350, 400 square metres, so it's already massive. There's enough space in the front to put a pool. It's out of the way, it's secluded. It's already built up round here, so nothing else is really going to get built up. And you could, hey, Saudi Camp, somebody mine. You could, and you probably would, split that for a second plot. And whether on a personal level I'd give that to a family member or sell it on to use the funds for doing a little touch up on that and then putting some in the bank, I don't know, but the option would definitely be there. Although the option is not there, is it? Let me explain why. You see, because this is the island of Koh Samui in Thailand, and nothing is as straightforward as it ever seems here. You know, it's not as black and white written on the page as it would be in the UK or Europe. And even though this property was under our budget with such a mass amount of land at 4.8 million, yeah, about 110 to 115,000 pounds UK, when we came down here, the owner put the price up, and not a little bit. Oh no, he put it up £30,000 to 6.5 million. I mean, I'll be honest, I completely understand why. Like I said, when I first saw it and I first saw the listing, I nearly shit a brick. It's an absolute gem of an opportunity at a ridiculously reasonable price for this island. I was just telling the 2 people there that rent that place, when I came down to see this, 1,000 square metres of land, the next property I went to see was a 2-bed that sat on 140 square metres of land. It was like a shoebox inside a townhouse, inside a little built-up village. It was insane. To go from this, that was £5,000 more, to that, there's just no regularity on this island, which is why when we came to see this, the owner just went, I'm selling this too cheap. I want 6.5 million or 150 grand for it. And it's just completely outside of our budget. I was literally doing backflips with excitement, putting an offer in for this property, and within 12 hours those backflips had stopped and I was crawling on my belly in a pool of tears. But I guess the reality of it was, it wasn't meant to be. So let's move on to the second property that was almost meant to be, just up the road from here. So we're not quite there yet, but just wanted to stop and show you my mates that are hanging out here very near the property. Look at this area, it's beautiful. It's just pure raw countryside. And then over here behind me mate, little mountain views. And the property itself's a little bit similar. Let me show you. Oh wow, I was just gonna make a point of showing you a truck passing by on this road where this house is, and turns out he's pulling in. How wicked. I think he's probably going to cement the swimming pool. That's what's happening there. But look at this area, look. It's a very, very nice area. the sun is setting over there. You've got a sunset in your garden if you wanted it. But there's the thing, these houses here at the back, they sit a little bit further back and they seem a little bit more private on the front garden. We're English, we're from Europe, we enjoy using a garden, and normally our garden's on the back of the property, which makes it a little bit more private. This road is kind of a side road, but it does get traffic, and as the years go on, you're going to get more traffic, and as the years go on, this beautiful green area right here probably not end up going to be being a nice green area. The chances are it's going to get developed. I mean, it is what it is. Progression's a thing that happens everywhere. You can't fight it, you just got to go with it, and if you can't, you move on. The area, however, down from here and this road is possibly one of the best places and my favourite places on the island. It's Lipanoy. It's not too far from the last property, but it just holds that Thai authenticity about the whole area. It's little country lanes with little Thai houses, little massage, authentic massage parlours, Muay Thai boxing places, little restaurants, and it's bloody beautiful. But I'm not sure it can happen. Let me show you the property if I can first, and then I'll explain a little bit more. So it's a 2-bedroom place and it's on the market for 4.5 million, which is, I guess, about 100,000. Noting our limits 5 million, 120,000. This on the top I actually thought was like some sort of waterproofing that they'd not trimmed back yet. Apparently that's the design and how it's supposed to be, as is this thing at the top that looks like a room that isn't a room. It's just how the roof goes, and they've decided to make a feature out of it. Honestly, all a little bit random, but it might not be an issue. Let's have a look inside and I'll explain why. Basically, you've got one big bedroom here with AC. I mean, it's a brand new build, nice sort of doors and whatnot on it, a pretty nice bathroom, basic but good. Not the most expensive shower, but I'm sure you could change things like that. The thing is with this property, it's already sold, but there's 2 plots next to it that I'll show you in a minute where you could build another one. This is the living room area, which, to be honest, looks nice, looks big, but isn't bloody usable. Even on the designs for the house, the person, bless them, they put the settee in the middle of the windows, but it's not an issue. We've spoken to the builder or the seller, and what somebody's done, I think they're doing it with this property, is they're going to knock this wall through with this window, put a door in there and move the kitchen outside. Basically, this property's built in an L shape with this piece of the L missing. So as you can see, this is a massive space here, and if you just built 2 walls, you've now got a huge kitchen area, which could then come off from this living room. I may personally have some sort of island there or something. The design is there and the builder would do it. From here you're coming into the 2nd bedroom, which is again pretty sizable. I think these are 3.5 meters by 3.5 meters, so they're just big enough to get a double bed in and then some sort of wardrobe somewhere. Coming out onto your pool. I mean, how nice is that? Bless her. And this one comes with its own ensuite bathroom, which is again quite nice. I definitely changed the shower. And for us, as you know, we'd have to be looking at including a 3rd bedroom for our 2nd child as well. So that could be a bit of an issue, but the builder of this property has told us that we can tweak this build to our liking, and obviously there'll be a little bit of an extra fee on that, but it could still be within our budget for us to put a big old kitchen out here and maybe some form of extra bedroom on the top. There is, however, a couple of problems I've got with this build. Yeah, we can tweak it how we want, but I don't like how they've done it with the garden on the front. I know you get the sunset if you have it that way around, But as an English person, it just makes me wonder whether I'm sat in my garden at the front in a few years' time, trying to have a nice Sunday afternoon relaxing, when this road's got a little bit more busy. I don't know whether it'd be a better option to flip it round. Ooh, there's something rustling down there. If that had been in the UK, I wouldn't be bothered. But I've a pretty good feeling it's a snake in there. Let's not walk through it. But this is the land. There's 2 plots here, and it sits on 350 square metres. So in all honesty, I'd probably be going for the middle plot, because otherwise you've got an M plot that's got 1, 2, 3 roads on it. Nobody else has flipped their house around, but I think it might be an option. But is it really an option for us? Oh, and before I explain why, bloody hell, the land here is for sale already. How much is it? 13 rye, yeah, a little bit over 13 rye land. I'll bet it's going for about, I don't know, I'd hazard a guess at 100,000 a rye. A rye is 1,600 square metres. So when you consider that it's 300-ish, this whole plot is probably about half a rye, maybe a little over. These houses here though, however, for some reason have a bit more of a privacy feel to the front garden. Or maybe I'm just trying to convince myself. Those houses, however, I do prefer the build style to that than that. And the builder has said to us, he knows the seller of those houses and he can get the plans if he wants, and he could actually build us that house. But let me explain what's going on here properly, how I can do it, and how this probably isn't our best option. Because, like I said, I've got sod all cash, and that's just the reality of it. But what I do have is a Thai wife who also has a Thai son who's in his late 20s, nearly 30s, and wants to get on the property ladder. And between my wife and her son, they've been offered a mortgage over here in Thailand. Now, as you may or may not know, both of them are living and working in the UK, but through a middleman company, we're able to apply for a mortgage, and they've been sort of agreed a mortgage in principle for the 120,000. Now the thing is, that mortgage in principle, for the majority of it, will cover us to buy a house that's already built. But we've been told under some circumstances we could get a house off plan, which is what this guy's offering to do. Build us a house off plan on this plot here, how we want it, any design, up to our limit. But we're not 100% sure that would actually be the case. They may look at the property or the build and the plans, and they may undervalue it, which if they undervalue it, this builder's not going to build it for us. He's going to want the price that he thinks it's going to be at, and our mortgage could be under, and that'd mean we'd have to find the difference. There's already massive amount of fees included. We've got 3% for the middleman company. This one's being sold by an agent that takes 5% on anything we'd want to build, more likely. That's not to mention the normal bank fees and a few other bits here and there before you start equating how much your build's going to cost. And that's if, and it's such a big if, that we can get a 95% mortgage. That is not given. The opportunity we've been given is from an 80 up to a 95% mortgage, and we've already been told if it's for 95%, we're going to have to be reassessed again, and it's going to be quite a tight assessment, I would assume. So this may possibly be an option, but I have to be realistic. I think it's a 10 to 15% chance, and that's not enough, even in my mind, to go for a chance. I think you gotta be looking at a lot more than that, and what I am looking at is a 99.9% chance, maybe a bit less, maybe 95, but it's nowhere around here. It's about a 15-minute drive from here, so yeah, let's get over there and I'll show you what I think is going to be the best option for us and what we're probably going to be buying. Well, brace yourselves, because this is what we're buying. This piece of land here, or rather that piece of land there, and what we're having built on it is one of these, or rather one of these. I'll show you the house in a minute, but it's a little 2-bedroom place and I'll explain everything. But essentially what we're buying is 2 plots here. So we're hoping to take one of those houses and turn it sideways to face this way, and then we can have a garden in front of it. Now, I have to say, over the past few days, if you follow the social media and the posts I've put out, it's been a nightmare. One day we woke up and we were told we couldn't do it, because essentially we tried to get a mortgage with the gentleman that's building this project and it fell through for whatever reason, and we thought that would be the end of it. However, we've spoken to the company that's the middleman that I mentioned that's offering us a mortgage, and they're happy to proceed with it as it stands off plan on this project. Now that sounds all good and well, like it's all done and dusted. It isn't. We've now got to submit all the paperwork to the middle company, and they'll submit it to the bank, and then they'll assess it and tell us whether we can do it or not. So we're halfway there. We've just got to keep our fingers crossed a little bit longer. For now, let me see if I can show you one of the properties. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you a fully done one, but yeah, let's see if we can have a look. Firstly, let me just show you this, because this is the property and it sits tight up against that wall, 2 meters that side, but this side, as you can see, there's a lot of spare land. They've not all got this amount of spare land, it just happens that this one's got a lot more than others, but there's enough room here to extend that back out. You're looking at the kitchen there at the back, this is the living room, and you could extend for a 3rd bedroom here. That's our thinking. How you do, Damo? Yeah. Oh, cap on my crappy. Our builder in full effect. Let's go look inside. Now, obviously they're all identical, but this is possibly going to sit a different way round to what ours will. The bedrooms will be on the other side, but as you can see, it's a good sized living space. Hang on, we'll go in this one. There's no one humming with a drill in it. But yeah, it's a good sized living space. I think the living room's about 3 meters wide, which is just enough. You can definitely get a TV in here and your settee and such. And then if you come round the back, this is where the kitchen's going to be. As it stands, it's not too bad a kitchen. It's not a Western style kitchen by any means. These properties are actually quite well priced. They're on the market for about 75,000, 80,000 pounds English, 2 bedroom in a great location. And that's after tax, because there's a sale and then a tax on top. But hey ho, as we said, we want to knock this through and create a bigger kitchen out the back there. Over here, you've got the main bathroom, which isn't massive, but it's usable. I mean, in Thailand we don't have baths mostly, we just have walk-in showers, which is exactly what this has got. You're going to basically be having a sink and a toilet, and then over yonder you're going to be having your shower. Now, whether we change some of the tiling and some of the light switches to be a bit more fancy, we possibly will do, and maybe a few other fixtures and fittings. Now, into what is the 2nd bedroom, this one, and these measure 3.4 meters by 3.4 meters, which I'll be perfectly honest is a little bit tight to put a double bed in it with wardrobes. So these will be a perfect size for my kids, with a single bed in here and a desk and everything around, and that'll be fantastic for them. But for me and my wife, I think we want something a little bit bigger, possibly 4 by 4 meters. But then on the front, you've got another bedroom, and this is the same size again, 3.4 meters. Guys working hard at it. Ningalaba. That sounds like they're from Myanmar. And again, you've got in this bedroom an ensuite, which again is going to have a sink, a toilet, and a shower at the back. Doing a good job, man. Dimaklai, no? Ninglaba. That's how it go. What I think we'd actually do here, and this is my thinking, we'd have a patio door on there, or some sort of big open sliding door window thing. Future down the line, if one of my children did move out, the thought would be we could possibly knock this wall through, have a dining room area in here, and maybe make that a living room looking out to what hopefully is going to be our swimming pool. And then we'd have a door over here leading into our bedroom. And I gotta tell you, having looked round one of these, which is actually already done, they're a damn good quality. I sort of rate build qualities in a simple way, and it's a good standard to how the rest of the build's going to be, and that's on the windows. And he's used pretty damn good quality windows here. On top of that, I'm pretty confident about this one. The builder and the owner lives there. That's his house, and not to put too much on it, I don't want to, you know, it's quite private, but yeah, he's built loads of stuff all over the island. This is a project that he's got going. He's got another bigger project with bigger houses and double the price over the way. And yeah, he's a very nice guy. I've had a good chat with him, and I'm very confident that all in all he's going to be able to give us a wonderful little home right here in Koh Samui. There is one thing with it though, and this is a bit of a mad one, and it looks horrific. There's a canal overflow there, and a lot of sort of stagnant water that doesn't move, and it runs all the way down here and to the end there, whereas a field with quite a pool of water down there. Oh, they're not here today. The other day when we were down here, there was 2 buffaloes swimming in there. Wicked, mate. But it's not a bother. What he said he's going to do, he's going to create something like that along this road as well, and then he'll be planting stuff like morning glory and such to sort of alleviate the smell. And I guess worst case scenario, I can call the council down here to dredge it out once or twice a year for a minimal fee over here. But yeah, I'm pretty chuffed. I mean, it's not a bad sized plot of land, is it? It stretches over to where that guy's standing, and then it comes all the way right over to here. It's a nice plot of land. 400 square meters. Our dream. And we keep our fingers crossed it happens. For now, I wanted to show you guys. We've done it. It's full circle. It's finally happening. And it also means that now I can breathe and do some other cool stuff, which is what we're going to be doing on the next video. Mate, I can't wait to drop it. I've done it already, and it's a car camping trip on this island with a pretty funky vehicle. I'll say no more, but it will be dropping on Sunday. So for all of you that follow along, I love you all. Thank you for everything over the past few weeks. It's been a real challenge of life and a real journey, and yeah, an emotional up and down, and I'm glad I brought you guys with me. I really am. Like I always say, we got one shot at this life, and for us normal people, sometimes chances come along and you got to take them. They don't come along when you sat on your arse in front of the TV. No, you need to get out and make an effort and find them and then take them. For now, let's leave the philosophy for another video. Take care of yourselves. I love you. Stay stealthy and enjoy the misadventure.